All right, Larry Krueger here from the Pig and a Pickle Krug Show with a little 49er video as we review Brock Purdy's 6 sacks from week 2 in Minnesota against the Vikings. And, of course, we're brought to you by Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Check them out. They're in Emeryville. They're in Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. or until they run out. Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. And this video also brought to you by Sharp Corner Sports Cards and Collectibles, 205 Cypress Avenue in Pacific Grove, California, along the Monterey Peninsula. Call my friend Anthony Catania. He's at 831-521-5264. So thanks to both Pig and a Pickle and Sharp Corner Sports Cards and Collectibles for sponsoring this video. All right, let's get into Brock Purdy's 6 sacks from the game this weekend. Let's just get right into it, and we've got the video. This is the sideline wide off the NFL Plus. So we're looking at the first sack. This was a second quarter play, a 2nd and 10 play. The Niners were at their own 48-yard line, right around midfield. Purdy looked at Kittle, and then he looked at Ayuk, and they were covered. So he takes off and he runs, and Andrew Van Ginkel tackles him for a loss, and that was sack number 1. So let's roll it back to the beginning, and let's go full speed here. Let's just see it all the way through. Here it is. Purdy, you got Debo in the orbit motion. Purdy decides he's going to take off and run, but then Van Ginkel closes the space, and Purdy can't get back to the line of scrimmage. Technically, it's a short run, but since he didn't get back to the line of scrimmage, it's a sack. So in this one, Purdy looked at Kittle, and he looked at Ayuk, and, was a little indecisive here, and took off and ran. And obviously, Van Ginkel, he thinks is out there in coverage, and instead he's peeling off of the flat and keeping his eye on the quarterback. And when Purdy goes to run, Van Ginkel puts his foot in the ground, and right there at the 43-yard line or whatever, 44-yard line, he makes the tackle. So there you go, sack number 1. And here's the end zone copy. You got Debo in the orbit. You got Purdy looking to his left, and it looked like he was looking right at Ayuk, but Ayuk was covered. So he looks at Ayuk. Ayuk's covered. He wants to go to Ayuk, so now he's got to go to his second read. I think he wants to go to was that Debo right in the middle? And instead, he takes off and runs, and Van Ginkel peels off of his coverage and makes the tackle. Sack number 1. All right, let's go to sack number 2. Sack number 2 was in the third quarter, 12:23 mark of the third quarter. It was a first down play from the plus 49. So the Niners were, on the Vikings side of the field by 1 yard. Purdy looks right, sees nothing, and then is flushed left. Juice, he wants to go to Juice, who's covered by the linebacker underneath. He pump fakes the defender Greenard and sprints back to the line of scrimmage, and then dives to try to get back to the line of scrimmage to just preserve, so he doesn't get tackled for a loss. It was a 0-yard sack. Here we go. Here it is once again. Purdy, we're going to take a look at this one. Purdy looks right off the snap. So here we go. Okay, the ball is snapped, and he's looking to his right. And I think he wants Ayuk. But Ayuk's covered, and that corner route looks like it's covered as well. So then he decides he's going to go to Juice coming back on the backside. So Juice goes in motion. Let's see. Juice is lined up on the left, on the offensive right side of the formation, and he looks like he's going to go for Juice down here, but then ultimately he pump fakes Greenard, and he dives forward. It was it wasn't a negative play, but it was technically a sack. That was sack number 2. So in reality, he's been sacked twice. Both of them, the first one I thought he was definitely indecisive. I think that one was on Brock. Didn't realize Van Ginkel was going to peel off and make the play. Otherwise, he thought he was going to run for a few yards. The second one, as I said, he looks right, sees nothing, is flushed left. He's got, Juice covered by the linebacker underneath, so he can't go to him. He pump fakes Greenard, and he runs back to the line of scrimmage. All right, let's get to sack number 3. That was a great play by Purdy just to even get back to the line of scrimmage. Easily could have been a major loss, but technically that was a sack. All right, now we get to sack number 3, and I think this one's on Trent Williams. It's a 3rd and 12 play. This is the, almost the 11-minute mark, 10:59 left in the third quarter. It's a 3rd and 12 play from, once again, midfield on the -49, the Niners 49. Minnesota comes with a 5-man pressure. The Niners are in a 4-wide, 1-back look in a 2-by-2 formation, a spread look with Juice as the one back offset in the backfield. So you got a 2-by-2 look, and they're gonna run some comebacks, and it looks like the interior receivers run the comebacks, and Pat Jones bull rushes Trent Williams into Brock Purdy's lap, and then Purdy steps up, but Jones finishes the sack. Purdy could have had Debo on the comeback up top. If you look, he had Debo on the comeback up top, but Van Ginkel's stunt put him in Purdy's face, and Jones winds up peeling off and getting the sack. Brock was clearly late to see Debo open, but if you look at this play, you see Debo open up top, and the sticks are at the 40, and Debo's sitting at the 30. Let's see where Debo winds up. Debo's at the 45. So he's 6 yards away from the first down, and you have 2 defenders here. And this, the inside defender is looking at Brock. The outside defender is got either the corner route covered. He can help out on the corner route, or he's ready to step up on Debo right here. And so Brock, that even though that looks open, when you think of the distance and the positioning of those 2 defenders, Debo's not open there. And if he is open, that's going to close in a heartbeat. That, to me, he was not open there. But then let's look at the end zone. Pat Jones bull rushes Trent, and Trent gives up that left shoulder, and he's right there in the lap pretty much of Purdy. Now you got Van Ginkel who's working the stunt, and he's coming around. And so that kind of moves Purdy from his right. He backs right into Trent, who's trying to block Jones, who Jones just peels off of Trent, reaches through Trent, and sacks the quarterback. So there's no question that Brock was late to see Debo open. But that was, to me, short of the first down. So he really didn't think that he was going to Debo there. He wanted to buy himself a little bit more time. He wanted to go to Ayuk on the dig, but he had no time to throw it. And, Big Trent got bull rushed by Jones the second right into the lap of Purdy, and then Purdy's escape hatch was to his right because he had pressure coming off of his backside off the left, but then he sees Van Ginkel on the stunt, and so he backs up into Trent, who was standing right next to Jones. Jones reaches through Trent, grabs Purdy, throws him to the ground, sack number 3. But to me, it was all predicated off the incredible bull rush that Pat Jones the second had on Trent Williams. I mean, Trent Williams is 6'6", 330 pounds. He's one of the strongest guys in the NFL. He just had a guy who he outweighs by 50 pounds bull rush him right into the lap of the quarterback. So, I realize if Brock's super decisive, okay, go back, rewind a little bit. If we go back and rewind a little bit, when Debo runs his route up top, he's inside. When he runs that little out to the flat or whatever, if Brock delivers it now, like right now, steps in with conviction and gets it out right now, he's got a pitch and catch gain to Debo. But he also probably is punting because the 2 defenders are right there and Debo's 6 yards away. So he didn't want Debo there because he wants the first down. So he's looking on Ayuk on the cross, and it just didn't have enough time. Jones, beat bull rushes with Trent, and then on the stunt, Purdy moves into Jones, and then Jones just pulls him down. So, but I don't know if I blame Brock on that one. He could have been more decisive. He had literally a nanosecond to decide to move to go to Debo and to make that happen right away, and he didn't. So, that one, I thought sack number 3 was on Trent. All right, let's go to sack number 4. This is also third quarter, 6:49 mark of the third quarter. Niners are in a 1st and 10. They're on their own 35-yard line. Minnesota brings a 5-man pressure. Purdy looks to his right, but Pat Jones comes untouched for the sack off Purdy's blind side. Trent Williams had to choose, did he block the inside guy or the outside guy? Well, everybody knows if you got to choose inside or outside, you always block the inside guy because the inside guy is closer to the quarterback. So he sees the inside guy coming, he's got to take on the inside guy, but it leaves Jones to just bolt to the quarterback. So Purdy looked right, but Jones comes untouched. Trent did the right thing. He blocked the inside rusher and he let the outside rusher, in this case Jones the second, go free. Purdy should have gone to Debo. Instead, here he takes sack number 4. So let's see it. He's got Debo. And let's see the way this plays out. Yeah. I mean, he had no time. We can say whatever we want about who he had and this and that. If somebody comes untouched at the quarterback, you have no time. I mean, you have literally a nanosecond. The ball's in his hands now, and Jones has hit him now. It's like no time at all. So in some ways, that seemed like a busted play. You had too many rushers. You had an inside rusher, take up Trent Williams, and then that left Jones unblocked. So there's nobody to block Jones there. So that was a bad one. Who do you put number 4 on? To me, it's almost like formation. They didn't account for the 2 rushers on that side. All right, let's go to sack number 5. This is also third quarter. I think 3 minutes and 18 seconds left in the third quarter. Yeah, here it is. This is a 2nd and 9 play from the Viking 39-yard line. Niners in a 3-wide, 1 running back, 1 tight end personnel group, Purdy in the shotgun. Minnesota came with a TE stunt again, and Trent Williams whiffs on the linebacker, Cashman, and Cashman gets in for the sack. Now, Purdy had Ayuk, and he had Mason on the backside, but he doesn't have the time to get to the backside read. So Cashman gets the sack. Cashman was trying to set up Dallas Turner for the easy sack by engaging Trent. But instead, he just ricochets off Trent, and it was like Banks and Trent neither blocked either. I mean, there was an inside rusher and an outside rusher. Here it is from the end zone, and you can see this. So Cashman goes and bumps into Trent, brings Banks inside with him. But Trent, instead of blocking Cashman, he just bangs off of Trent's inside shoulder. Boom. And now he's at the quarterback. Ricochets to the quarterback. Trent winds up blocking nobody. Banks winds up blocking the inside. Well, let's see. Banks winds up passing Cashman. He gets the outside guy. Banks recovered to take on Turner. So Banks recovered, but Trent didn't. And here's once again, it's like you miss camp, you lose a little bit, of your speed and quickness. And right there, Cashman gets the sack. Now, I thought this was on Trent. I mean, he whiffs on Cashman. Cashman's right at him, block him. Instead, he doesn't get a finger on him. And I don't know if they ever even saw him. He may never have seen Cashman. Cashman pushed off on Trent and kind of ricocheted to the quarterback. So, I mean, either way, that's on Banks and Trent. I mean, you got two offensive linemen, including the best left tackle in football. You got two rushers. It's not a 3-on-2; it's a 2-on-2. And Trent doesn't touch a soul on that. He doesn't touch the outside guy, and he doesn't get Cashman. And now his quarterback's looking on the ground. Once again, watch this again. Trent doesn't. Who's he blocking here? So Trent's the left tackle. He's looking like he's going to block the outside guy. Doesn't see Cashman. Doesn't even get a finger on the outside guy. Just whiffed altogether. So, that's on Trent. I mean, I thought that was on Trent. That was sack number 5. And let's go to sack number 6, the final sack. This is also third quarter, 2:33 left in the third quarter. This is a 3rd and 15 from the Viking 45. The Niners go empty. So they go empty set with nobody in the backfield. Purdy is looking to Jawan Jennings, but he's covered. So he pump fakes, and in pump faking, the ball comes out of his hand, and it falls into the hands of Jihad Ward. At the time, they called it an interception. They then later changed it to a fumble. But really what it was a sack fumble because it was behind the line of scrimmage. So this is just Purdy. He wants JJ, but JJ's covered. Let's see where JJ is in this. Let's go back to the front of this. Okay, that's the end zone. Here we go. We got JJ. JJ is, he's on the bottom, right? He's on the bottom. Oh, there he is. No, that's not JJ, is it? Yeah, there it was. It was JJ he wanted JJ on the intermediate cross. And instead, instead he's covered. So he pump fakes and he drops the ball. Pump fakes, the ball comes out of his hand. Jihad Ward falls on it, picks it up, and they call it a fumble. A fumble, so there you go. And that's sack number 6. And this one's on Brock. Come on, you gotta handle the football. It wasn't raining, it wasn't wet, it's a dry day. You got to be able to pump fake and keep it in your hand. So there you go. He's looking for JJ, and he probably should have gone to JJ, but he saw that defender sitting right there. And he's like, if I throw it to JJ, he's going to get lit up like a Christmas tree. So let's avoid that. And he pump fakes, brings it down, but instead it goes, and Jihad Ward picks it up, and major negative play. So there you go. 6 sacks. I don't know if all 6 were on Purdy. I thought if you went back and looked at it again, the first one, Purdy gets sacked by Van Ginkel on a run. And, if he runs one more yard, it's a 1-yard run. And it was a 2nd and 10 play. So you're trying to get, you're trying to set up a 3rd down. You don't want to get a negative yardage play. So he was looking at Kittle. He was looking at Ayuk. They were covered. And boom, he takes off running, and Van Ginkel grabs him before he gets to the line of scrimmage. So that's sack 1. So I guess, to me, when I look at that first sack, I think Brock could have been more decisive. On the second sack, he looked right and saw nothing. Juice was covered by the linebacker underneath. He pump faked the defender, Greenard. This was a first and 10 play. And he's hustling to get back to the line of scrimmage, and he dives, and he basically got back to the line of scrimmage, but not quite. Sack number 2. That's just dropping back to pass, and there's nothing there, and you're running back to the line of scrimmage, and you almost get there, but not quite. So in a way, that kind of wasn't really a sack. Those first 2, I mean, you could have easily said he was sacked 4 times, and that's enough. But 6, the Van Ginkel sack was like a run that he didn't get back to the line. Same with the Greenard sack. It was kind of a run. He's trying, it's a 1st or 2nd down play. He's trying to get back to the line of scrimmage. The third one was clearly, in my opinion, on Trent, because Jones bull rushed him and was sitting right there to clean up. The fourth one, I think, was probably on Brock. He had a chance to be more decisive and go to Debo, and he couldn't get it done. The fifth one I thought was on Trent because he just whiffed. He whiffed on Cashman. Cashman came flying in. I mean, they're going to run a little stunt, a little game right there. You're well positioned to take on both those guys, and you didn't get a hand. I don't think he ever saw Cashman, but he never got a hand on the defensive end. So it's like you got to hit somebody, and he hit nobody, and Cashman got the quarterback. So to me, that was a bad communication, bad footwork, whatever. You want to put it on Trent, put it on Banks. I thought it was on Trent. And then the last one I would put on Purdy. He's looking for Jawan Jennings. And you know what? That's fine. Be careful with the football pump fake, but you can't lose the football. And he pump faked it, and it got out of his hand. There you go. Sack fumble. Jihad Ward gets it, and they're going the other way. So there you go. The overarching theme of yesterday's game, when it came to look at Brock Purdy, and a lot of people were very critical today of Brock, maybe justifiably so in some ways. I don't think he was decisive as I've seen him be in the past. A lot of people were down on Shanahan, for the game that he called. To me, I would say this. The one thing that really stood out to me when I watched the game for a second time is that the 49ers don't have a single weapon. I mean, if the Niners had, 4 and 5 in the pattern most of the day, I didn't see any separation, really. I mean, they didn't get wide open very often. I mean, Justin Jefferson was 5 yards clear of Jair Brown. Naylor made a couple plays that he got separation. I didn't see Ayuk get separation. I didn't see Debo. Kittle got separation a little bit, but, for the most part, the 49er receivers are getting no separation. So Brock Purdy has to make absolutely on-the-money throws because otherwise they're going to be picked. So I thought that was my big takeaway. Was Brock great? No. Does he need to be better? Yes. Were the Niners great yesterday? No. Who would you blame for all these sacks? Well, I don't think Ayuk's the same player that he was a year ago. Trent clearly looks rusty. Brock didn't look as decisive as he has in the past. But I would say the number one thing that is troubling the 49ers, at least on the offensive side of the ball. Defensively, they've got their own issues that we can get into in a different video. But offensively, I would say the number one issue offensively is not Kyle. It's not Brock. I wouldn't even say it's the O-line, though it's not a great pass blocking O-line. I would say it's the lack of separation that their weapons are getting against defensive players. Defensive players are literally tied to the Niner receivers, and that is going to make it tough for Brock to avoid picks. It's going to make it tough to avoid guys getting their hands on the football. It's going to be tough to drive the ball up and down the field consistently if you cannot create separation. Jacob Cowing can create it, but he got no run. Other than Cowing, the Niners' weapons look slow. I mean, if there was one thing, if I could say to Kyle Shanahan, if he came up to me and said, give me one thing that I should do to up my, production offensively, improve my team, I'd say go find somebody who's got big speed and add him to your practice squad and have the ability to promote that guy on game day. You need more speed. You got a pretty fast offensive line. You got a pretty quick quarterback. But now without CMC, you don't have a back that's fast, and you don't have a tight end that's really fast, and you don't have receivers that are really fast. So either get Jacob Cowing out there or find some other speed. But the Niners need to get better separation from opposing defensive backs, or it could be a long year. Could be an absolutely long year. All right. Thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being the title sponsor of the Krueger Show. Thanks to Sharp Corner Sports Cards and Collectibles for sponsoring this video. And thanks to all of you guys for supporting the Krueger Show on YouTube.